Okay, now I've switched gears and I'm not recording off of my laptop anymore. I'm recording off of my phone, and hopefully this will produce a nicer image and something that will be easier to enjoy. I heard that the other one was a little bit dark, and well, let's see how this goes. Alright, so welcome to No BS Meditation Lesson number 1. And I want to go ahead and start by just indicating certain things that we are not going to be doing in these meditation lessons, and which you probably shouldn't be doing in any meditation lesson at all. First things first, you're not trying to silence the mind, and you're also not trying to silence your emotions. There's a preconception about meditation, which is that you're going to sit there and you're just going to rest in empty space, and you've got to go ahead and be nice and strong about it and force this kind of quiet internally. That it brings, that it requires immense kind of willpower to do. And actually, I would say that it does require a lot of willpower, but we're going to try and help you be a little sneaky about how you acquire that willpower, or how you apply that willpower. Because you don't want to try and sit down or stand or, get into a position where you're going to force something to happen. Because actually it'll cause the opposite. It'll actually cause your mind to spill out more stuff. It'll cause you to emote even more. And it'll just kind of disturb the water, so to speak. So a lot of what we're going to be doing really has to do with really just using the power of observation. And that has a very interesting effect just by itself. You can imagine your mind almost like a pond, a small pond, and as you look into it, if you were trying to reach into that pond and you thought that it was a little muddy, and you're going to reach in with your hands and try and pat the mud down, or the kind of smokiness of the water down, all you're going to do is bring more stuff up from the bottom of the pond. You're just going to make it even muddier and less clear. So what we're going to do is just engage in observing yourself internally, whether you're sitting on the edge of your bed, or whether you like taking a lotus position. You can look up through the internet and find a couple different meditation positions. Me and my students, when I teach Tai Chi, we generally stand in Wuji, which is a standing position that has to do with just sitting slightly as if you're sitting on a bar stool, and extending the crown of your head towards the ceiling. One of the analogies that we use is straightening the spine as if it were a string of pearls, and you are held from the very topmost pearl. And I encourage anybody who's going to do this to go ahead and, whether you're sitting on the edge of your bed or whether or not you're standing, to go ahead and kind of maybe use that imagery to kind of just help you kind of align yourself in a way where you're not going to be uncomfortable after a minute or two. If you have bad posture or anything like that, you're going to be kind of forced to move, and it might kind of just unsettle you. And you want to try and stay, at least with your body, in a position that you can hang with for a little bit. Now, another thing that you want to do is that you're not going to try and force yourself to have an emotion of sorts. You're not going to force yourself to have bliss. You're not going to force yourself to have peace. Like I said, if you're observing your mind, you're observing yourself, almost as if you're observing that pond of water. If you try and create any shape out of what's going on, or try and force any reflection onto the water, you're probably going to be messing with the water on some level. And really what you want to do is just observe. And as you observe, everything will just calmly settle. It'll settle more and more. But first you just have to put yourself in that position to observe. And one of the things I want to give you to focus on is that what I'd like to do is, besides that kind of stance or that posture, which we may go into just a little later, but I do encourage any of you who are watching this to go ahead and look up lotus position or half lotus position. I also encourage just sitting on the edge of the bed or sitting on the edge of a chair. And if you'd like to look up what I was meaning as far as Wuji, a standing meditation, you can look that up as well. And I'll try and see if I can post some links to that underneath to give you some instructions on posture. But definitely the first thing to work on is the attitude with which you approach it. And lastly, with regards to the attitude with which you approach meditation, there's no way about it. There's no two ways about it. it's going to require some will. And it's going to require that you do this little experiment every day. Now, just the same as brushing your teeth, just the same as taking a shower, it shouldn't be any differently. Just treat it the same exact way. Something you're just going to go ahead and do. You set your time aside, do it. Don't let yourself create a lot of ideas about it, about what, all the huge differences it's going to make and this sort of thing. Just take it as a little experiment, a little house cleaning. One of the examples that I gave one of my students, I thought was pretty funny, that kind of inspired this series of lessons, is that really, it's very simple. Imagine if you had to go to the bathroom. When I mean go to the bathroom, I mean number 2. If you had to go, if you were full of it, you wouldn't say, oh, you know what, I think I'm going to go. I don't think I'm going to go. You'd go. You'd just go. You'd make the time. So a lot of people come up with, and your mind's going to come up with a ton of reasons for not doing your meditation. For whatever, you're out of time, you don't quite feel right, or it feels a little strange. Your mind is going to throw everything at you. But you are full of it. Do some good to yourself and actually cleanse your mind. A little bit of mental hygiene. Go ahead and take some time and actually really put the effort into it. Because I really, really think you'll discover that it creates a remarkable difference in your day and in your life. But don't take it from me. Try it. And that's the end of the first No BS lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much.